Hi, it's Paula here. I'm a watercolor painter, and on today's video I'm launching a series of 4 videos. By the end of this series, you'll be able to paint some flowers and leaves and make your own composition. It's like a real class where you are developing your knowledge little by little, and after that you are able to compose your own artwork by yourself. Said that, let's jump on today's subject, which is 2 flowers in 6 different view variations. From sketching to painting, I will guide you through this process and also talking about proportions between the center of the flower and the petals. Let's get started. I'm using here a standard multi-purpose paper and sketching a big circle with a small circle inside as a guide. And then I'm placing the petals all around very loosely using the big circle as a guide. Next, I'm sketching a side view of a flower, starting the same way with a big circle, but the small circle won't be centered. It should be on the side like I'm doing here. Then I move to the petals the same way I did before. It is important to practice a lot until you feel comfortable sketching on watercolor paper. The next flower is pointing upwards, so I'll cut the big circle in half and I'll add a half circle as the center of the flower and move on to the petals just on the bottom part. And now it's time to practice without big circle as a guide. Grab your paper and relax doing it. The more you practice, the more you have better results. So take your time and enjoy it. It doesn't need to be perfect. It's your time to relax. And also it's time to like this video and subscribe to my channel. It helps me to make more videos like this one. Fill your page with these sketches, so you will feel much more comfortable for the next step. Now I will show you the same flower but with a bigger circle as its center and shorter petals. The technique is the same, but it's clear the difference between the two. It looks like another kind of flower. As a beginner, you can use this technique to vary your paintings. Stay tuned because by the end of this series of 4 videos, you will be able to paint a composition made of all these flowers that I'm showing you here and leaves and small flowers that I will show you on the next videos. The secret is practicing a lot as I'm doing here, so you can also pause this video and take your time to practice. As you can see, I'm changing the proportion between the center of the petals and it completely changes the flower. Now, I'll take my watercolor paper. This video is not sponsored by Arteza, but I want to share my thoughts about this paper. It's cold pressed, 9 by 12 inches, 140 pounds, and dual-sided. And dual-sided means you can paint on both sides, and the paper holds water very well, not bending or wrinkling at all. I totally recommend it. You should try it. Back to the painting, I will start sketching the flowers that I've shown you before. I'm sketching them very lightly using a hard pencil so I'm not hurting the paper. The result should be very light, especially because watercolor is transparent and won't cover the graphite. Take your time to do it. with a very light hand. You have a better result. Fill your page with these flowers and all kinds of them. Front view, side view, and now we are almost there. Bear with me. Now I'm starting by mixing water to the painting. This color is called yellow ochre and I'm applying on its petals using a round brush number 2. I'm using the wet on wet technique, applying some orange next to the center, and I'll let it bleed into the yellow to give some volume to the petals. I'm repeating the process on the other flower and making sure to leave some negative space on the petals to simulate highlights. Then it's time for the purple. I'm using the same wet on wet technique and applying red to bleed into the purple. I'm not painting the center yet because I don't want the color of the center bleeding into the petals. So I'll let the petals dry before painting the center for having a well-defined painting. Don't forget to leave some white space on the petals to simulate the highlights. Moving on for the pink flower, I'm taking a very watery red and it makes me a light pink as you can see. And I'm applying some green to bleed into the petals. I'm still using the same round brush number 2 to do it, but you can use 2 brushes, one for the pink and another for the green, so you don't need to wash your brush every time you are changing colors. Now that the yellow flowers are already dried, I'm mixing dark green and gray to paint in the center of the flowers. I'll use the same color for all the flowers and the technique is very simple. I'm just making small dots all over the center and leaving some white space as highlights. I changed my brush for a round brush number 0 for having a more delicate result. Don't add too much water to the painting so you keep the color very dark for the center of the flower. Finally, the last step is taking a color darker than the petals to make some thin strokes, still using the round brush number 0. Starting next to the center of the flower, I'm doing these thin strokes halfway toward the tip of the petals, and it simulates some volume. You can keep going doing it on all flowers, and it's important that the strokes are very thin. A good tip for having it is not soaking too much the brush on the painting. If you keep your brush not very wet, it won't release a lot of painting, so it's easy to control while making thin strokes. And that's it for this video. I hope you guys liked it. And on our next video, I'll be showing you how to paint some leaves to use on our future composition. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. See you on my next video, guys. Bye!